you don't love this movie, I don't know what to tell you. It's Forrest Gump, one of the greats. 1994 winner of Best Picture, Best Director Robert Zemeckis, and Best Actor Tom Hanks playing the title character Forrest Gump. Uh, I love this movie. It's so great. I mean, it's just kind of a magical movie, really, but it's kind of something unexpected coming from Robert Zemeckis. Like he, of course, did the Back to the Future movies, so he knows how to use special effects and make special effects based movies, but also with like a very human center to them, which is kind of what this movie does. The best compliment I can pay the special effects in this movie is that they're pretty hidden well. Like you don't really notice them. Like uh, even like the feather, it's all CGI. You kind of notice it now because it's a little older special effects, and of course, like when they show scenes of history and you see the historical figures like Lyndon Johnson, John Lennon, Nixon, Kennedy. You see like the lip syncing, and you're like, that's kind of a little cheesy looking. But other than that, I mean, definitely a great work in telling kind of a small but epic story at the same time. Um, it's a movie about history, about a certain section of history, mainly the 60s and 70s. Well, 50s, 60s, and 70s, I'd say. Um, Seen through the eyes of Forrest Gump, the innocent eyes of Forrest Gump, who is mentally inferior, I guess you could say, but not like completely, I don't know, stupid. What are you, stupid or something? They ask him, but I may not be a smart man, but I know what love is, and such a great movie. And because I mean it looks at these very important events in history, like civil rights and the war in Vietnam, but also like little funny gags, like how he invented the smiley face T-shirt, the shit happens bumper sticker, um, invested in Apple computers. It's all pretty funny, and it's done in a way that reminds us of how magical movies can be, and following his story and just how good and pure this character is. I mean, if this were any other type of character, I don't think the movie would work quite as well, because how exactly do you follow a story with like this? And not have a certain sense of wonder about it, and he does, and it's a very funny movie and a very moving movie, because it is a love story between him and his childhood sweetheart Jenny, and between his mother and between his friends like Bubba and Lieutenant Dan. It's just so great, and Tom Hanks, he's just phenomenal in this movie. He gives an excellent, probably career best performance as Tom Hanks. It's completely just awe-inspiring how great this movie is, and yeah, I mean basically with its special effects, like there is the character Lieutenant Dan who loses his legs. Gary Sinise in a great performance. Obviously, he has legs, so they use special effects to tell the story. So they digitally edit out his legs, which that's interesting. I mean, uh, because it has such a big budget, I mean, they can do things like that when maybe, they'd have to think otherwise and play little different other tricks or get an actor who didn't have legs, but how could they? Because they have to have scenes where he has legs. I don't know. But I don't know. It's kind of like almost like a modern day fairy tale, about this man who kind of proves his worth to the world. Becomes a war hero, becomes a ping pong champion, becomes a millionaire. It's just an incredible movie. I mean, it's again, it is one of those movies where it is hard to put in words how great it is, but I think a lot of it does have to do with the fact that the character is so good at heart, and you don't really see that too often in movies. I mean, in a lot of cases, like movies will want to make a character seem more flawed because it's more relatable. But the fact that he does have flaws. His heart is where it should be in this story, and it tells a very moving story about of love and determination, and history unfolding before his eyes, and his experiences with it, and his recollection of his life, which is his story of his life coincides with the story of America at the time, which is very beautiful. And it doesn't cheat in any kind of way. I do think any emotional response is absolutely genuine that they get out of this movie. And it's just wonderful. I'm sorry, I can't really put into words how great it is, but I mean, hopefully, hopefully you've seen this movie and you love it. I mean, I can't imagine anybody doesn't love this movie. Such great, memorable lines. Life is like a box of chocolates, but you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan. Popcorn, shrimp burger, shrimp a la carte. So good. I love it. I love this movie. Well deserving of its Oscars. Of course, kind of infamous that it won over both the Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction, which are two really highly rated movies, especially in like a film kind of community on like the internet. Like, of course, I think Shawshank is still number one on Internet Movie Database, and definitely Pulp Fiction is up there too. And yeah, I'd probably say at least Pulp Fiction I think is a better movie. But no hard feelings about this winning, because I think it's a magical and great film with a great performance by Tom Hanks and great supporting performances. Robin Wright Penn is great as Jenny. Sally Field as his mom. Gary Sinise, he needs his own movie. I mean, he was so incredible. I just wish there was more Gary Sinise in this movie. I thought Lieutenant Dan was a career-defining performance from him. And I love the little jokes, and it's a movie that it's just so impressive how it can so skillfully and delicately balance all these different types of emotional responses that it's trying to get from you. Like, it is trying to be like a whimsical comedy, but it's also supposed to be it has tragic moments and sad moments about death and loss, and very dark periods in history. And it has very triumphant moments, like Run Forrest Run. I mean, come on, that's classic. That's absolute classic. But it handles it all so well. Like, so I've never quite seen a movie that's as funny as like a whimsical kind of comedy, but as emotionally involving and legitimately so. Like, I don't feel this movie cheats. It's actually, I keep on saying the word magical, but it's almost like a magic act. I mean, one false move, this movie becomes, kind of like talking down to its audience, like trying too hard. I don't know, but I just love the movie so much. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. This is a classic. This is a masterpiece, well deserving of all its Oscars, even though there were some other better movies. But again, no hard feelings. This is a great film, one of the best. If you don't like it, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But if you haven't seen it, please, I urge you to pick up this movie, especially the Blu-ray. Blu-ray looks incredible, very, very clean up and well transferred, everything like that. I just love this movie. It's a classic and an iconic film for good reason. So, one of the greats. I love it.